Welcome back. This is our Frederick Riddle, your host for session 5 of the Basic Authors Training Seminar. And I do want to apologize up front. The quality of this video may be not up to par. We've got a few technical difficulties here going on, but we're going to put this forward anyhow. So we have 3 subjects today. We have the avatar. We have book covers. And we've been hitting at it for a while now. We have AI. And so we're going to try to cover all 3 of those in as brief a time as we can, but I do want to get them all in because they're important for you. So we're going to look at the avatar first. Now, what is the avatar? Well, basically, it's a fictional person. Who is actually a person who represents, usually they're used to represent the marketing person, the person you want to reach with the marketing. You could also say it's the person you're writing your book for. Things of this nature. It guides you, it helps you, and it focuses your brain on who you want that message to go out to. Now, there is what I call the usual advice. So we're going to put that down. Usual advice. It's not that complicated to understand, but you'll see there is a problem with it. The first thing they do is they tell you to find out your average customer. Now, to do that, you need to take your customers, all that you have, and then look for commonality between them. What are some features that they have that are common to them? And then that becomes your avatar. Another aspect of this is the email list. Your email list. They always recommend you have an email list. Now, do you see anything wrong here or anything difficult here? If you're like me, you spot something right off the bat. When I first got into the business, I didn't have any average customers. I didn't have any customers. And I'll bet you the number of you out there watching today's video don't have any customers either, or you just have a handful. And if you only have a handful, again, it's going to be very hard for you to find your average customer. That's one problem. Well, what about an email list? Well, you can have family, and you can have friends. Right off the bat. The problem with either one of those situations is family might encourage you or discourage you. They might applaud your efforts or they might frown on your efforts. Because they're family doesn't mean they're going to buy. They may not be one bit interested in doing that. They'll cheer you on maybe, but that's about as far as it goes. They might be friends and the same thing happens. So the problem that we have here is you and I, when we're starting out, we don't have much of this to work with. And so when they come and they give you all this advice, and then they'll give you charts that you can fill out and so forth to form your avatar. It's not that complicated. But what is complicated about it is if you don't have any customers. If you don't have a good email list. Now, if you can build an email list over time, and then you start out with your family and your friends, and maybe your fellow workers and stuff like that, and then sort of there's a process in which you can bring out those who actually might be interested, and so you make them part of your list. But you're talking about not just weeks, not just days, not just weeks, not just months, but perhaps years of development. Depends upon your friends and family and how many you got and how slow or how fast it goes to develop it. So that's where I stood when I first started out. I didn't have any of this. And I tried an email list, but didn't get very far with it. Part of it was my lack of patience on my part. I didn't stick with it. I was frustrated right from the beginning because I couldn't even those people who applauded me for being a creative, going out and writing my first book and so forth. They didn't really show much interest. But I put them in my email list, and I kept them informed. But again, I didn't see any real growth there. So I was at a standstill, so to speak, until I got myself a coach. And when I got myself a coach, I got a coach's advice. Now, what was that advice? It can be said in very simple terms. So, my coach's advice is this: you, when younger. Now, with more words than that, but I'm just not doing a very good job of writing there. Hopefully you can read that. You, when younger. I just summarized it, is what I did. And so, when he did that, when he gave me that, and he gave it to me in two different ways. One, he gave it to me privately, and secondly, I was in the group I was in, he gave it to the whole group. In either case, I don't know which came first, but I got hit with it twice, and it really hit me hard. The first time, and then the second time even hit me even harder. And it just blew open my understanding of what an avatar is. And so my avatar became me when I was younger. And so, okay, well, what do you look for then? Okay, first of all, there was age. We're talking about younger, right? So actually, in my case, I chose age 40 because that was younger than me, and it was a kind of like a dividing line in my life. So anyhow, I looked at the age 40. You might be something else. You might be 30, 35, 20, 25, or even in your teen years. But whoever you're writing for, that's going to be your age group. So in my case, I chose 40. We'll put that down. Then, okay, married or single. Well, it really doesn't matter to me on my books, but it might matter for you. But so in my case, I was married. Now, in my case, I was married for just 2 years. I got married at the age of 38. I waited for the perfect woman, and I got her. But here we have age 40. I was married. I was also working. Let's see. I had my interests. That's another key thing. Interests. I love to read. That's one. I not only love to read and write. The reading came first. Then later on, I developed a desire to write. And when I got saved, actually God called me to write. But I had nothing at that point in time. I really didn't know a whole lot about writing, even though I went through what I call the School of Hard Knocks. So I had some interests. And not only did my interests, I had hobbies. And if you want to, you can add it on the sports. In any case, it's different things, all kind of similar. And so I love table tennis. I liked watching anyhow. Different sports like baseball, football, things of that nature. But you can see I'm building up a list here of things that were characteristic of my life when I was 40 years old. And so now I have my avatar as who I can aim my books at in the writing of it and who I can market to. This right here. Somebody who fits in there, and that's a large group of people. Now, one of the things I want to put at rest right away here, some people are going to oppose this, the whole idea of an avatar for that matter, because they're going to look at it and say, okay, I focus on one person, my fictional person here. Or if I focus on that one person, then I'm going to miss the people over here or the people over here. No. You focus on this person, and your focus will be such that it will go out like that. Let's see if I can show it there. How's out about that, like that? We'll put my finger right there. And so you can see the range of this goes far beyond just your person that you're looking at. But your focus is there. And then it's like shooting an atom bomb. You're aiming at here, but its effects are going to be so much broader. And so it's not, don't worry about that. That's a non-issue. It's been historically proven that when you focus on the one, that it hits far beyond what you're focusing on. But you want to focus on that one. Pick that one that you can do it. So you have 3 ways you can do this, really. Your average customer, your email list, or yourself. I chose myself. That just opened up the business for me, and I would recommend it for you. If you don't have these 2 up here, you've always got you, and you got you at different ages. So let's say you want to write books for adults, and you want to write books for children. Well, what were you like as a child? That would be your avatar for a child. What were you like at a certain age, adult age? That's your avatar for adults. So you can see how this can work. And you can modify it. It's not just for writing and marketing. You can use this in other personal areas of your life. But we're focusing on writing today. So that's the thing I wanted to get across to you for an avatar. So let's get rid of all this. And when we get into the course itself, the course goes into this deeper. As in any subject that I'm covering in this seminar, the course will always take you deeper. I'm giving you an overview of what's available in the course. But at the same time, I'm giving you information that you can use now. Take that information there on that avatar and see if I'm not right. That when you do that and apply it, and especially use yourself as the avatar, how that just opens up your mind, your view, your opportunities of having an avatar that you can use, first of all, to write to, secondly, to market to. Okay? So the second group we're going to look at, or subject we're going to look at, is called book covers. Now, a book cover is very, very important. When you walk in, you can do this little test yourself. You may even have a title in mind. But if you've been on the internet at all and you were looking and you already picked your book, you go to a store, you have that cover in your mind. And so you might be looking for that particular cover. But let's say that you walk into a bookstore and you're just looking for something to read. Maybe you have a certain genre, and maybe even a certain author. But as you're scanning all the books, there'll be books lying on your bookshelves. Your eyes will be attracted to different things, and you may have something in mind that you're actually looking for, or you may be just sort of scanning to see what hits you. Well, that book cover becomes very essential. You want to have a good book cover. Now, in doing this, you can hire somebody, and I'm going to get to that in a minute or two. But if you don't hire somebody, then you have to do it yourself. And so I'm going to talk to you about what the publishing platform. Now, I believe that the best way to go about things is to be a publisher yourself. You either be an indie publisher or you hire an indie publisher such as myself. Either way you go, you have to work with a publishing platform, different platforms out there. So each platform is different. So I'm not going to talk about my particular one as far as the name is concerned, because you've got to find this, if whatever platform you go with, you've got to find out where they stand on these things. So, but generally speaking, there are some certain common things they offer. For one thing, they might have on their, where you start building your book and so forth, they may have a gallery available. A gallery of templates. We're going to templates. And they may have photos, paintings, or you just could, we'll just say artwork. Takes up less room. Artwork. They may also have illustrations. Different things that they'll have available. And they'll have them probably in the hundreds altogether. But the problem with this, I've actually used some of the photographs that they provide, the images. But the problem with the gallery is, well, that's why I left the letter off there, didn't I? Let's correct that. Gallery. The gallery is something that I have actually used, but they're limited. And that is a big problem. And some people just say, because of that, some authors don't use them at all. But I make it a habit of checking them out because they're free. And if you can get a good picture that is free and use it, then it's already set for that platform. You don't have to do anything with it. You just click on it, and it instantly becomes the picture for your book cover that the platform is going to use. And so that is something that I think is important if you can do that. If you can't do that, then you get into uploading your own. So we're going to upload your own. Sounds a lot simpler than it actually is. Because you gotta understand, the publishing platform has criteria. You can't just upload a photograph and expect miracles to happen with it. What they do is they have dimensions, and this is why I don't mention the different platforms, because they all have maybe slightly different dimensions that they use, different pixels per inch and stuff like this. And so you have to know what they are. Now the good thing is the platforms will tell you what you need, and that is something to consider. You go in, you get to study it out and find out what is needed. And then you can take a picture, learn how to adapt it to that platform's criteria, and then you can use it. And you can use their templates. Even if you upload your own, you can still use their templates. So you can also not only upload your own, or you can upload copyright-free copyright free. Now, actually, you can actually get copyrighted, but if you do, you need to have a certificate. If you have to have that in your possession, in just in case questions come up. But you can get them. They're easy to get. And you go to outside on the internet, and these outfits have thousands, tens of thousands, up to 100,000 or more images, illustrations, sketches, you name it. And so you can use these for many of them, most of them are available for commercial use. Some of them are actually copyright free, and some of them will spell out what they're for. Some of them will not be free and will charge you, but I haven't found them to be too bad on the charging. So you can do your own pictures, where you take your own pictures and do it, or you can download pictures, which may or may not cost you anything, and then you can upload that into the platforms, into the platform itself, and then have it make sure that it fits with that, with whatever template you want to use, and follow the route from there. And so you have these different things that you can do. If you can do your own, that a lot of times, because you have your own idea of what you want for your book. Now, there is one other way that goes along with this, and that is you hire. Okay? You hire somebody, and that's what we're going to look at in this next part here. So before I erase this, they have provided you a gallery of templates, which you can use no matter which way you go with the rest of this. You can get your own templates. We'll talk about that in a moment. So they're limited, and that's their biggest drawback. You can upload your own, or you can upload some that you download from another site. But the key thing here is you've got to meet the criteria that the platform has. So now we're going to talk about hiring. You're going to hire somebody to do all this. So that is something that, again, we'll just take this out here. There we go. So there's many outfits. I'm familiar with one in particular, and you'll recognize it probably. It's called Fiverr. It gets its name because when it first started out, it was charging $5 an hour. And by the way, that still is available. You will find people who will work with you at $5 an hour. You can find them up at $20 an hour or up. Now, this is the key part that I want to really get across to you. When you hire a designer, that's what I will call them, a designer. You look and you see, okay, $5 an hour, $20 an hour. Oh, this guy must be really, really good, right? Not necessarily. What you do is you compare this guy's work with this guy's work and see which one does the best, because some of them choose to be in the $5 bracket and go for numerous contracts. These want fewer contracts, and they'll do it at a higher price. And the thing is, what you really want to know is what's the quality of their work. And so that is something you need to check out. And the only way you can do that, you go in, you go in and you say, okay, I want a designer, and because there's more than just book covers done on Fiverr. So you go say, I need a designer, and I want to do it for, I want a picture or an image or whatever you want to call it. And so you start having a list in your mind of what you need. And then you find the ones that will actually provide that help. Then, when you get those, then you start comparing the different prices. One particular person who's a very professional person that I respect, what he did is he went and bought, I think it was 10, he went to 10 different designers, and then he said, this is what I want. He gave them all the same criteria. And then when they came up with a sample of what they could do, he then compared their samples and chose from that. Now, you don't have to go quite to that extreme, because usually what you can do is you can go into their site and look at their work, and into this person's site and look into his work, and you compare them that way. And it's not quite as effective as he did, because he did that plus much more. But he found that there were some $5 that he liked, some maybe a one or two of them up here, and there was a whole bunch of them right in here in the middle that he liked. And so that is something that you don't go by just the price. You find out what the quality of their work is. You want to know what other people think of them, so you look at the reviews, things of this nature. You can get, you have a wide range to work with. Don't be hung up on the price. It could be that this guy up here is well worth that much money as opposed to the others. But you might find down here in this lower brackets somebody of equal or even better quality. But that's up to you to find. So that's what we have for book covers. Now we're going to get to the subject that you're all probably waiting for, because it's the newest kid on the block, and it is something that is constantly changing. And that is AI, also known as artificial intelligence. So we talk about it as AI. Now we all know it. If you've ever watched any TV, and especially if you watch Star Trek, Star Wars, any kind of futuristic movies, AI makes its appearance. In Star Trek, I think it was Star Trek 2, I think it was, or whatever they called it. I can't remember the series name at that point, but you had Data, D-A-T-A, basically a robot who had artificial intelligence. That's what it was. Of course, played by a human, but that's beside the point. But the thing is, it was a robot that could, or humanoid, whatever term you want to use, and it had AI. Well, it's moved from the fiction field. It is now something we are dealing with today. And authors need to deal with it, because authors can benefit from it if used properly. Now, this is one of the things, it is a tool. Some people say it's a solution. That really comes up to you to decide that, whether it's a tool or a solution. But the thing is this: when you look at a solution rather, you run into some problems. If you're living at it as a solution, you got to remember something. You might be using Chat GPT. You may be using Bing, or there are others out there as well. They all have something familiar in that they use AI, and AI is growing. It's evolving. So let's use that word, evolving. It can be taught. You can teach it to know how you write. That can be a good thing or a bad thing. Then it can self-teach itself. Self-teach. Let me give you an example. So you go here, you teach it until I want you to study this, your books I've read, study these chapters, discover my style, my genre, all of those things. Keep that in memory. And so then it takes that and it goes and it will self-teach itself. And eventually it will be able to write an entire book that will look a lot like you. But there are dangers involved in this. The thing with AI, it's not a person. It has no morals. It is amoral. That means it doesn't have any. It doesn't know right from wrong. It might know it as a theory that it could write out, but as far as application goes, it doesn't have that ability, not yet anyhow. And at this point in time, that's what we have to deal with, where it's at right now. So it has no problem going to other authors and copying their material and inserting it into what they're going to tell you to write. Nor does it have any problem with copyrighted material. Copyright infringement. The two are very closely related anyhow. But see, the thing is, that is a legal issue. And that is something that you have to watch out for, because the publishing industry is now very much aware of AI and its impact. And so what they're doing now is they are starting to take standards. And as of last year, what they were doing, at least the platform I'm dealing with, they came out with an approach. So you're filling out what your selections are, your cover, your content and everything. And so they come out when they ask you, is this AI? Are you using AI? First of all, if you say yes, or if you're in agreement with that statement that you're using AI, then they're going to ask you this question: are you using AI assisted? Or are you using AI, we'll just call it written. They might use a different term. The difference is this: an AI written, you come down and remember I said that they'll copyright. They can go in and take stuff out of copyrighted material and then put it in your book. There's a term for that, and it's called plagiarism. It's also called, and then you also have copyright infringement. In either case, you can get into some legal complications. And they want to know this. Now, as of last year, all they were doing was saying, do you do this or do you do that? And you just let them know. Now, if you're doing this, I'm sure, I don't do that, so I never went beyond this, but they might already have restrictions in place. Well, if you're using AI written, then this must apply. Or they may rule you out altogether. If it's AI assisted, that is a different subject. AI, well, so we're going to say that this is not acceptable in my book. I personally would never use let the AI write the book for me. I want help. I want information. I want a tool that I can use to be a better writer. And so that tool is a lot like a search engine. So stay with me on this. You might disagree with this at first, but I think you will once you hear it. A search engine. In my thinking, a search engine was AI in its infancy. And now search engines have grown and grown, and AI is in there and has gone beyond that. But it's still tied to it. So if you type something into I use Bing a lot, and if I type in something into my search engine, guess what? Over here on the right-hand side, all of a sudden Bing starts writing things down in response to that. And I haven't even asked Bing to do anything yet. It's because I'm kind of connected to it. But the thing is, it's like AI. It's a tool that I have used, and you may be using it yourself, to discover information. to do research. You might do it to, actually, you might even do it to get an image, an image for your book cover. Nowadays, with AI, you can get your own image. That is one of the things you can do for your book cover. So AI can be used in a variety of different. You could probably even use AI to find your avatar. You know, put down all your different characteristics, and it will come up with your avatar. So AI is something that is a very valuable, in my book, a very valuable tool that you can use to become a better author, better your book, every aspect of your book, if it isn't already impacted by it, will be. And so I think that this is okay. This is a great way to go. It's a great tool that can be used even now without fear. If you go in and use the AI written, it will come out and it will bring information from other authors, inviting copyright infringement. It may even create facts, a fictional fact, but it won't tell you it's fictional. It will just include it in there as though it was a fact, and that's another area. If you're writing a documentary or something of this nature, you don't want that. You don't want that at all. So you want the facts. So I would advise, unless you are very, very skillful and knowledgeable, stay away from the AI written. That's your choice. I would go with the AI assisted as a tool, and it leaves you in control. And there's one other aspect. If you use AI to write your book, if it was me, I would not ever be able to look in the mirror and say, yes, sirree, I wrote that book. No, I didn't. I asked a few questions and AI provided the rest of it. I gave some directions. AI used those directions. But AI did it. AI did the work. The AI did the research. AI did everything. All I did, maybe at the very end, I may have done some editing. That's not exactly the same thing as writing. And so for me, it'll be a pride issue. Not the wrong kind of pride, but we should have pride in our work. And it just blows my mind that I don't see how I could ever say I wrote something that all I did was provide some directions. So, but this here is a tool that I think you can use. So we've looked at AI. And again, in the course, we'll go, and not only will we go deeper, but this is a subject that requires constant research on my part. I will have to constantly update because AI is growing, it's evolving. What is today is true will not be true in a few more days. And so that is something that I'll be constantly rewriting lessons on AI. Now, we're going to get to something else. This is called the deal. I am providing you an opportunity for Basic Authors Training Seminar, which we will be getting into, by the way, in the next session. I will be providing you not only instructions of what our information is, what that involves, what that course involves, but I will be providing you a deal. If you go out and buy it now, it's on sale, so you're going to save money. But if you're truly interested in it, and you are like me, you would like to save money, then I'm asking you to wait. Yeah, I'm not going to turn away your order. You want to buy from me now, I will take your money and gladly, and I will provide you with an outstanding course, no matter which way you go. I'm just saying that if you want to save some money, wait until the next session, because I am going to give you a deal that is better than the current deal out there, and I think you're going to like it. I will also see, I'm looking at providing a freebie for you. I've been debating as to what that is. I kind of narrowed it down, and so when I get to this session 6, I'm going to reveal what that is as well. So, but the big thing is the dollars. It's going to be savings. Going to be savings that I think that you will like, and that is something that I would just encourage you to wait. You got just one day, one more session, and then you will have it. And it's information that I think if it was me back when I was 40 and I was looking around to find any kind of help to be a writer, I would have jumped at it. This deal affects both the full pay, paying the whole thing up front, or subscription. It will affect that as well. And so that is something that just want you to take into consideration, and just wait until the next session to find out exactly what that deal is. So study take a look at this. I'd look it over, maybe stop and pause and go back and relearn these three things, because all three of these are things that's going to impact your book, the success of your book, the success of you as a writer. I'm not guaranteeing you anything here because it all comes down to how you use the information. But what I am going to guarantee you this is that if you do use the information provided here now, it's going to impact your career. Most likely, in fact, I'm going to say likely, that it will improve your career in a positive way. You have the choice, but I've tried to provide you information that is available to you now that you can use now. You get the course, you'll get even more so. And I not only like AI, but all my topics, I try to keep them up to date. It's just going to be the AI is going to be changing frequently. So here you are. Avatar, book cover, AI, and then you have a great deal. See you in the next session.